if it weren't for this, I wouldn't have this head unit. I've mentioned that before, and I'll say it again, because this is the saving grace for this head unit here. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about my 10-inch Android head unit. I've had it installed for about a year now, and I'd like to go over some of the things that you may want to watch out for if you try to do the same. Alright, let's cut straight to the chase here and answer the big question I know you guys are asking. Is the head unit worth it? And yes, for me it is 100% worth it. It's probably one of the best mods I've done to my car, and it's been absolutely great. However, it's not for everyone, and throughout the video I want to be able to kind of identify the big issues and some of the reasons why you may not like it. But on the other hand, if you're still on the fence, I'm also going to be sharing some of the good things too, because I don't want to make just a pessimistic video excuse me, a pessimistic video and leave you guys, you know, in the mud thinking this is a terrible idea, because ultimately I do like it. So let's just get into that right now. I'd suggest watching the whole video if you guys want to see the whole overview, but I will be putting some timestamps in the description just to kind of help solidify, you know, if you just want to look at specific issues, you can do that as well. One quick side note, if you found this video helpful and if you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm. That helps me out tremendously, and make sure to subscribe if you'd like to see more videos. I'd like to start off by answering some of the big questions that I've heard repeatedly in the comments of some of my previous videos. The first question has to do with where I purchased the device. I actually bought it on Amazon. The link will be down in the description, so check down there if you want to get the Amazon link. The second question that I got had to do with reliability. So a lot of people said, hey, it's a Chinese head unit, it's a screen, is it reliable? Yes, it is reliable. I've mentioned before, it's been about 20,000 miles, and in that time there were only 2 times I can recall where the head unit was actually not functioning while I was driving, and when I couldn't use it. So the answer to fix that is actually, let's see if I can doesn't want, there we are. So there's a little reset hole right there, and you can use either a bobby pin, or this is a paper clip that I just reshaped while I was driving one day. But you just press it in. Oh, I guess it did work. It just had a delay there. So it'll take some time to just do a hard reset, and yeah, so that's kind of, as soon as it's reset, it's always been perfectly fine after that. The other thing is that it didn't affect any of my AC controls or my hazard lights when the screen was kind of going crazy. And again, I did 20,000 miles and I only had the issue twice. So I guess in kind of comparing that to any other screens I've had on other vehicles that have OEM screens on them, those have had pretty much just as many issues where maybe I'll be driving and CarPlay won't work, or something may be going kind of whack for a time or two. So yeah, that absolutely is reliable. And as you can see, we just did a full boot up, basically as if we had just turned on the car, and it automatically opened up the CarPlay app and connected to my phone. Another one of the big questions that I've heard repeatedly in the comments had to do with the App Store. So for those of you who watched the last video that I had, you'll know the Play Store was not working. And that is still the case. You can see it just crashes on me. I have tried reinstalling it. I've tried going into various websites with different APKs and reinstalling it from their sources, and nothing seems to work. So my solution was Aptoide. And someone in the comments, whoever you were, thank you so much for suggesting this. Aptoide is a third-party app store, and it's honestly awesome. It has all the same APKs, all the apps that you would want, and it also automatically recognizes all of the, let's see if I can get a focus here, it'll recognize all the preloaded apps that you've already had installed, like Facebook or Instagram, and it'll update those for you. So that's been a super big help, and you can basically install any app. If it's in the Google Play Store, it'll be an Aptoid, and yeah, that's a good alternative, I would say, for any head unit that does not have Google Play. Next up, we have the AC. So this was having some issues for those of you who watched the last video. We were having some issues with it being in Celsius, and it's still in Celsius. I have not found a resolve for this, unfortunately, but it does work. The temperatures still, follow through. They're just in a different unit of measurement that I'm not accustomed to. So those of you who are international viewers, you probably won't have any issue with that. If you're in America, honestly, it's not a problem, because I tend to change the temperature based off how I feel in the moment. So if I'm cold, I'll turn it down. If I'm warm, I'll turn it up, and actually reverse that. I completely whiffed that. I turn down the AC, when I'm warm, turn it up when I'm cold, and it works just fine there. The final thing here is the radio frequency. Let's see if we can turn that down. So two things. The first thing is that the radio frequencies are off. So this is supposed to be Y101 FM. This is actually not 96.8. It's 101.1. And for some reason, the head unit thinks this is 96.8, but if you listen long enough, the radio station will say Y101. And just if for some reason these numbers don't actually correlate with the radio stations you're listening to. But if your old unit had presets, then these presets are still kept. So you don't even need a screen. If you had your presets 1 through 6 or 9 or whatever, you can still use them. They'll still be, preset here. The second thing is, if you change, you can be on a station, and as soon as you change the volume knob, it removes, closes the app, which is very unfortunate if you're just trying to, switch through the stations and it closes on you. There is a fix for the radio issue, but it includes using CarPlay and then just using an app on your iPhone or Android device that is CarPlay or Android Auto compatible, and just using the radio stations from there. Alright, so we're kind of getting to some of the tougher questions, some of the real reasons why you wouldn't want the Android head unit, because most of those are minor issues. The major issues, however, biggest one is the sound quality. So the speakers that I have on the car, they sound pretty good with an Android, with the OEM head unit, but as soon as you put in this head unit, it loses sound quality. All the speakers still work and you can still hear just fine. It's just not going to sound like the 12 speaker premium audio that you've come to appreciate from these Lexuses. These Lexi, is that the plural for Lexuses? Anyways, so that's just something you're going to want to keep an eye out for, and I will be taking this to a sound shop to see if there's anything they can do about it. So leave a like and follow me if you'd like to see where that takes me. But that'll be coming out in the next couple of weeks, and to see if I can fix the sound quality. And if it does happen, I'll be putting an updated video out showing the updated sound quality. Final thing I wanted to highlight here has to do with the CD player. It's broken, so I haven't been able to get it to work, and I don't know if it was broken before I put in the head unit or if the head unit just refuses to read the CD. But it's a shame, because it's a 6 CD changer, and if you do use CDs, then this is a big bummer. I haven't used a CD in many years, so I don't even notice it, but this could be an issue for you if you like to play CDs. Alright, I've talked a lot of bad stuff about this head unit, but I did ultimately say that it was worth it for me, and let me just show you why that is. Starting off, the YouTube app works great. You get playback, and you get everything works pretty smoothly, I would say. You can, scrub through. The video playback is great. The video quality, honestly, it feels like HD to me, even though I know it's not an HD screen. So take that for what you want, but I would say the brightness on the screen gets bright enough generally, and when you're watching content on the screen. It's decent. It's not the best, but for what it does, I'd say it's perfectly adequate. Second thing, because of Aptoid, it allows you to install any social media app, or even like small games if you like to play while you're bored. For the most part, everything that I've tried to run on this head unit will run just fine. Like I mentioned earlier, we have access to all of your maps and GPS and whatnot, so that all works just fine. And then finally, you get CarPlay. So let me see if I can open this up here and pull out the CarPlay dongle. But this is the reason why everything is worth it. For me, this head unit, ignore that mess. This head unit, it connects over Bluetooth, and it allows you to do all sorts of fun, fancy things. But I like the CarPlay features, so I bought this wireless CarPlay dongle, and I plug it into this head unit, and I get instant. I basically get all my CarPlay functions on this screen, and this screen it's smooth. It works pretty fabulously for CarPlay, and I just have a microphone wired up at the top there that goes into the head unit, and I can use Siri. I can use all of the CarPlay functions of maps and all my music built into my phone. And even I'd mentioned earlier the radio. I use an app called My Tuner Radio on my phone, and I can play the radio through my phone to the car stereo. So those are just things to take in mind. I'm going to be doing a review on this CarPlay dongle. If it weren't for this, I wouldn't have this head unit. I've mentioned that before, and I'll say it again, because this is the saving grace for this head unit here, and it makes this head unit worth it. So just stay tuned. If you want a video about that, I'll be putting that out soon, and kind of comparing this CarPlay unit to like an OEM CarPlay unit on some of my other cars, and kind of comparing whether or not it's worth it to try and get an aftermarket piece for your older vehicles, whether it actually compares to a new car or not. So I'd just like to conclude the video with a couple thoughts on the head unit. I know I've given it a lot of slack for some of the areas where it probably needs to kind of, it needs to fix its stuff when it, glitches out on you. But at the same time, I'm really happy with the way it works and how it's been fluid, and it's lasted me a year without hardly any issues. It's only had twice that I can remember has it ever frozen up on me, and I spend a lot of time in the car, and that's pretty reliable in my opinion. I plan to keep this head unit in my car until I get bored and put something else in, just to go over these hurdles all over again, just because that's the way I like things. But if this is something that you appreciate, if this content is something you like, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps me out a ton. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos, including that new CarPlay comparison that I'm going to be doing. And yeah, stay tuned for more.